ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तेर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमो पंकजनाभाय नमो पंकजमालिने नमो पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रये। Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you all for our Srimad Bhagavatam course. Hare Krishna. So last week we did an overview of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the mood behind reading Srimad Bhagavatam? We also discussed the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, the benefits of reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So today we are going to do Canto 1. There are 12 cantos of Bhagavatam. We are going to do Canto 1, Chapter 1. So the way we are going to do these sessions is every week, every Monday when we meet, we are going to cover one chapter, an overview of that chapter. So before I start Chapter 1, because this is the first class of Canto 1, I just wanted to give you all a bird's eye view for the first 5-10 minutes. What is there in Canto 1? What is the subject matter of Canto 1? This book looks quite big. This is Canto 1. For people, Bhagavad Gita is only quite big. Many people start Bhagavad Gita, they reach probably towards the end of the first chapter. They understand something, they don't understand something, and they again start from the first chapter, beginning. Endlessly they are stuck there only. Right? And beyond Bhagavad Gita is Srimad Bhagavatam. This book looks very lofty and very heavy, but actually the subject matter is quite simple if you can understand it in a very nice way. So Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1, first canto at a glance. Canto 1 has total 19 chapters, right? That's Canto 1. So the way Canto 1 is broken up, what is the subject matter of these 19 chapters? I'll explain to you all. So basically, the first chapter, the first 3 chapters in one sense, is the sages of Naimisharanya. We'll be discussing this in Chapter 1. They meet, Shaunakadi Rishi, they meet in a place called Naimisharanya, and they ask Suta Goswami 6 questions, which we will discuss in Chapter 1. So Chapter 1 basically has 6 questions that the sages ask. The answer to that comes in Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. Got it? So what is the answers we will discuss, right? So what are the 6 questions and what are the answers we will discuss in due course. But I'm just giving you an overview, an idea of it. So the first chapter of the first canto are 6 questions by the sages, and these 6 questions are answered in Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. So this is part A, which says Suta Goswami answers the 6 questions of the sages of Naimisharanya, Chapter 1 to Chapter 3. Now, in the beginning of Chapter 4, Shaunakadi Rishi, they ask two questions, technically. One question they ask is, what is the history of Srimad Bhagavatam? Why did Vyasadeva write Srimad Bhagavatam at all? And what was the inspiration behind him? Who inspired him to write? So this is the first question that they ask. This comes in the beginning of chapter 4. In answer to this, Sutta Goswami speaks chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6 and chapter 7. Why is Srimad Bhagavatam written? Why did Vyasadeva compile this book? That is the subject matter of chapter 4, 5, 6 and 7. So basically, if you see in this slide here, chapter 4 contains activities of Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva, he wrote all the Vedas, and after writing all the Vedas, he wrote the Puranas, he wrote the Mahabharata, he did everything. But even after doing everything, he was still dissatisfied. That's how chapter 4 begins. I mean, can you imagine? To write one book is difficult. To write the entire Vedas, the Puranas, Itihasas, Mahabharata, after writing everything, Vyasadeva is dissatisfied. And he's thinking, why am I dissatisfied? Right at that point, Narad Muni arrives in his ashram. Narad Muni is the guru of Vyasadeva. So the 5th chapter begins with Vyasadeva asking Narad Muni, why am I dissatisfied? I have written so many Vedas. And then Narad Muni tells Vyasadeva that you have written all the Vedic literatures, but in all the Vedas you have glorified Krishna indirectly. Direct glorification of Krishna is very, very less. You have glorified all the other processes of karma, jnana, but you have not so much glorified the process of bhakti. Therefore, you are dissatisfied. So these are the instructions Narad Muni gives to Vyasadeva in chapter 5, chapter 6. Very beautiful instructions for the entire humanity. When we get into those chapters, we will discuss. Right? If I tell you all everything now, you all will not come for the future classes. I'm just giving you an idea. Okay? A trailer. That is chapter 5, chapter 6. Now, after giving all the instructions, Narad Muni tells Vyasadeva that you are very intelligent, you are an empowered avatar, please compile Srimad Bhagavatam. In chapter 7, beginning of chapter 7, again Vyasadeva is asking a question to Narad Muni. What is this question? Beginning of chapter 6, Vyasadeva is asking Narad Muni, can you please tell me how did you come into the process of bhakti? And then Narad Muni in chapter 6 explains to Vyasadeva how he came to Krishna consciousness. His previous life, as a son of a maid servant, and how he met sadhus, and how they inspired him in bhakti, and how he got the body of Narada. Narada tells that whole story. And then in chapter 7, Vyasadeva sits to meditate, and then he actually sees Krishna, he sees Maya Devi, he sees Krishna's energy, and then Vyasadeva compiles Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is the subject matter of chapter 7. So now, I told you in the beginning of chapter 4, Shaunakadi Rishi asked two questions. One question was, why did Vyasadeva compile Bhagavatam? In answer to that, Sutta Goswami spoke 3 chapters. So I always say, when you go in front of great saints, before you ask a question, think. Because you may ask a very small question, they will give a very long answer. Okay? One question, the answer is going so long, 3 chapters. The second question that they had was, can you please tell us about King Parikshit? How was Parikshit Maharaj born? What was his activities? How did he meet with his death? How did he meet with Shukadeva Goswami? This is what they ask. So this they ask in chapter 4. So chapter 5, 6, 7 is Vyasadeva's activity, why he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. From chapter 7 till 19, all about Parikshit. So as I told you, you have to be very careful when you ask a sadhu a question, right? Chapter 7 till 19 is all about Parikshit Maharaj. So how does Sutta Goswami answer? So basically, they ask 3 things about Parikshit. His birth, his activities, his death. So ultimately, for a person to become perfect, 3 things are very important. How a person is born, right? More importantly, what kind of activities he does, and in what way he departs from this world. So in order to explain the birth of King Parikshit, Sutta Goswami goes a little back. See, any storyline, in order to explain that story, you have to give an idea what is happening behind. Like I gave this example yesterday, day before. When you have to shoot an arrow, you have to pull that arrow slightly behind. Then only you can shoot it. So now they are asking about Parikshit's birth. So Sutta Goswami goes slightly at the back. He begins with how after the war of Kurukshetra, Ashwatthama comes to kill the 5 sons of Draupadi and the Pandavas. We all know the story, right? So that is chapter 7. So Ashwatthama is trying his best to kill them. He shoots the Brahmastra. At that point, Lord Krishna and Arjuna, they go and punish Ashwatthama. So that is the subject matter of chapter 7. How Draupadi, ultimately she forgives Ashwatthama because he is the son of their own guru Dronacharya, like that. That is chapter 7. Chapter 8 is, so now Lord Krishna has been there in Hastinapur for a very long time, right? Lord Krishna has been there for the entire battlefield of Kurukshetra. Now when Lord Krishna is departing in the beginning of chapter 8, he is going back to Dwarka. That time Uttara comes running to Lord Krishna. Who is Uttara? Abhimanyu's wife. So Abhimanyu was dead in the war. But Uttara was carrying a child in her womb. And who was that child? Parikshit was the child. Because one of their questions was Parikshit's birth. Parikshit was on the womb of Uttara. So this Ashwatthama, this fellow is such a cunning guy. Krishna and Arjuna and Draupadi forgave this fellow. Still this fellow shot a Brahmastra to kill Parikshit in the womb. So Srila Prabhupada explains there that how previously the technology was so powerful, you can aim a weapon into the womb of a mother, not kill the mother but kill the child, right? So he shot the Brahmastra, and that time Uttara comes to Lord Krishna and prays to Krishna, Krishna Krishna Mahayogin Bhaktanam Abhayankara, my dear Krishna, you protect me, protect this child. And then Krishna saves Parikshit. So now when Lord Krishna is going, after all this is done, he has saved Parikshit, he is going back. That time Kunti Maharani comes. Who is Kunti? Pandava's mother. So this family, Pandava's family, are all great devotees, right? So in one sense, Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, is about Pandav family only. In the entire first canto, the story is about Parikshit, a member of the Pandav family. You'll have about Kunti Maharani, member of the Pandav family. You'll have about the Pandavas. There is 1 chapter, 7 chapter dedicated to Draupadi, dedicated to Uttara. All great devotees of the Lord. The entire family produced great Mahabhagavats, one greater than the other. So now when Lord Krishna is finally going back to Dwarka, Kunti Maharani comes running and she offers beautiful prayers to Lord Krishna. That is chapter 8, prayers of Queen Kunti. Chapter 9, so what happens now? It's up time for Lord Krishna to go, the war is over, everything is done. But Yudhishthir Maharaj now doesn't want to rule the kingdom. Imagine this entire war is fought. Why? Why is this war fought? To make Yudhishthir the king. The entire war is fought. Yudhishthir is now supposed to be the king. Yudhishthir tells Lord Krishna, I don't want to be the king. Because I have killed so many people. I don't deserve to sit on this throne. Let any of my brothers sit, and he's walking to the forest. So Lord Krishna is telling him, Baba, you should have told us, you should have told this before, we wouldn't have done all this. Right? And Lord Krishna is trying to convince Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir doesn't get convinced. So that is the time Lord Krishna tells Yudhishthir Maharaj and the Pandavas, let us go to Bhishma Dev. So Bhishma Dev is lying in the bed of arrows, about to leave his body. So they go to Bhishma Dev. Bhishma Dev convinces Yudhishthir Maharaj, and Bhishma Dev, in the presence of Lord Krishna, offers very beautiful prayers to Lord Krishna. And while seeing Lord Krishna, while glorifying Lord Krishna, Bhishma Dev departs from this world. So that is the subject matter of chapter 9, Bhishma Dev's departure. So now after this whole thing is done, Lord Krishna has saved Parikshit, Lord Krishna has heard prayers of Queen Kunti, Lord Krishna has been there for the departure of Bhishma Dev. Now finally in chapter 10, Lord Krishna begins his journey from Hastinapur to Dwarka. So chapter 10 is when Krishna is leaving Hastinapur, all the kind of emotions that devotees are going through, because they are so mad that Krishna is going, all the kind of emotions and the love they have for Krishna is depicted in chapter 10. And chapter 11 is Krishna entering Dwarka. So now Lord Krishna is coming to Dwarka for a long time. The Dwarka citizens just become mad, to hear the conch shell of Krishna, just to see Krishna. So all the magical effects that Krishna had on the citizens of Dwarka is explained in chapter 11, how they welcome Lord Krishna. So basically, the first section and then chapter 12 is actually the birth of Parikshit. Parikshit is born. That's what is described in chapter 12. So now in chapter 13, so basically chapter 12 is all this. Sudha Goswami has gone a little back. He's explained right from the punishment of Ashwatthama, departure of Bhishma, prayers of Kunti, and then till the birth of Parikshit, which comes in chapter 12. So now the next part was activities of Parikshit. Now Parikshit is born. Now for Parikshit's activities to start, he has to become a king. Correct? So when will Parikshit become a king? When the Pandavas retire. So now Shuta Goswami explains few other pastimes to explain how Parikshit actually reaches the point of becoming a king. So what are the events leading to Parikshit becoming a king? So chapter 13 is now the war is over, Yudhishthira has become the king finally. But Dhritarashtra, the father of the Kauravas, this fellow is still attached to that kingdom. Old man, still not living that kingdom. So Vidura, who is a great soul, a Mahatma, Vidura, he comes back. Duryodhana had insulted Vidura, thrown him out of the palace in Hastinapur. Vidura comes back and gives beautiful set of instructions to Dhritarashtra. And he tells him, now you're finally about to die, you're so old, still you're shamelessly attached to the throne and sitting on this. Bhima, who has killed your 100 sons, that guy, he's feeding you and you're eating it. You don't have any shame. Just get out of this place. Don't be attached like this. And Vidura inspires Vairagya, renunciation in Dhritarashtra. Beautiful chapter. So that is chapter 13. Chapter 14 is Lord Krishna departs from this world. Because now Krishna Leela is almost done. Lord Krishna came to establish Dharma, Yudhishthira has become the king. Everything Lord Krishna did. Lord Krishna winds up his pastime and goes to the spiritual world. So chapter 14 is a very, very deeply emotional chapter. Arjuna is there in Dwarka at that time and Arjuna is so mad because for Arjuna, Krishna was everything. So now that Krishna is gone, Arjuna becomes completely crazy in hearing Krishna's departure. So that is chapter 14. So now immediately after Krishna's departure, what happens? The Pandavas also wind up. The Pandavas feel that even though they are emperors of the world, they are not attached to the throne. As soon as Krishna is gone, they don't want to continue. They say, it's done, we will all go to the Himalayas. So just before going to the Himalayas, in chapter 15, they make Parikshit the king. They enthrone Parikshit and they all walk to the forest. So these were the kings of the past, Raja Rishis. They were not like Dhritarashtra, staying in that post till eternity, till they become old. At some point, when the boy is grown up, they just hand over and walk off. So Parikshit is now enthroned. And then chapter 16-17 is the rule of Parikshit Maharaj. How Parikshit Maharaj was such a powerful king, a great devotee, but also a great Kshatriya. When anything was going wrong, especially in chapter 16-17 it comes, when Parikshit is in his tour, he sees Kali, the personification of Kali in the form of a king, trying to kill a cow and a bull. So Parikshit goes and chastises this guy left, right, center. And Parikshit tells him, get out, I'll kill you. So Prabhupada explains in chapter 16-17 how kings, how politicians should actually rule based on dharma, especially giving protection to animals and especially the cows. So that is the subject matter of 16-17, lot of principles of dharma coming up. And then chapter 18 is when Parikshit is cursed by a Brahman boy called Shringi. The story is, Parikshit one time goes to the forest to hunt. The Kshatriyas had that license, they had to practice their archery. And Parikshit becomes very, very thirsty. And he sees a hermitage, a kutir of a sage called Shamik Rishi. So he goes and he's asking him water to drink. Shamik Rishi is absorbed in meditation. He doesn't open his eyes because he's deeply absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna. Parikshit becomes so angry that I am a king and this fellow is not welcoming me, not giving me water. So he takes a dead snake which is outside, wraps it around the neck of Shamik Rishi and goes away. And when he goes back to his house, the son of Shamik Rishi, his name was Shringi. So he felt very insulted. How can Parikshit insult my father? How can a Kshatriya insult a Brahmana? So he curses Parikshit that you will die in 7 days. So that is chapter 18. A very beautiful section where Parikshit, even though he is very powerful, in front of, compared to Shringi, Parikshit was very powerful. He was a great devotee of the Lord. He saw Krishna in the womb of his mother. He could have easily counteracted that curse. But Parikshit was thinking, good, let me die soon. Because I insulted a Brahmana, I insulted a devotee, I deserve this punishment. Only when I get something like this, I will realize. And all the more Parikshit was thinking, a news like this is very good. Because on my own, to give up this kingdom would be very difficult. Now because of this curse, I'll be forced to give up. So Parikshit just gives up and goes to meet Shukadeva Goswami on the bank of Ganges. And there Parikshit is repenting and he's meeting Shukadeva Goswami. And Parikshit Maharaj is, at the end of this chapter, chapter 19, Parikshit Maharaj basically is asking one question. Right? So in the fourth chapter, the first chapter, the sages of Naimisharanya asked 6 questions. Answer to that is chapter 2, chapter 3. Chapter 4, the sages asked 2 questions. History of Bhagavatam and birth, activities, death of Parikshit. In answer to that was almost all the 19 chapters. Towards the end of the 19th chapter, now when Parikshit is meeting Shukadeva Goswami, Parikshit is basically asking Shukadeva Goswami, a person now who is about to die, who is very nearing death, what is his duty? A person who has very short time, short life, especially in Kali Yuga, how can he perfect his life in a very short duration? And in answer to that, Shukadeva Goswami speaks 11 cantos. Straight 11 cantos. Rest of the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's how the overview of the first canto is, the first 19 chapters. Anyone has any questions, anything to ask before I actually get into chapter 1? Anyone has any questions? Are you all able to connect and understand? Right? The lectures are getting recorded, you can always hear it again. Anyone has any questions? Can we go ahead? So now we'll actually get into chapter 1. Chapter 1 is called Questions by the Sages. So as I told you, this is the overview of chapter 1. Okay? Look at this. So basically, chapter 1 has in total 23 verses. One of the shortest chapter. Okay? So in chapter 1 is basically divided into 3 parts. First is the introduction for the entire Bhagavatam. Right? Prelude for the entire Bhagavatam. 3 verses which define the absolute truth, the glories of Bhagavatam, and an invitation to read Srimad Bhagavatam. The first 3 is an introductory verse to the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. Verse number 4 to 8 is the second section where the sages of Naimisharanya, they glorify Sutta Goswami, who is the speaker of Bhagavatam. They describe the qualities a speaker of Bhagavatam should have, someone whom you hear Bhagavatam from. They glorify Sutta Goswami, the qualities that he has, and they tell him that you are very, very qualified. Please, answer our questions and speak something that can benefit the entire society. So these sages, they are not asking questions only for them. Their questions are meant for the entire humanity. Just like Arjuna, when he's asking questions, not for him, it's meant for the entire humanity. So in this way, they set the scene 4 to 8. And then in 9 to 23, they ask 6 questions. So this is the subject matter of chapter 1. So now, having given that overview, we will actually get into the verses. So the first 3 verses are the invocation, prelude, and introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam. For those of you all who have the book and you all can recite these verses, the verses of Bhagavatam are very purifying even to chant and hear and recite. You all would like to try to recite these verses? Or you all want me to recite? Huh? You can also recite, but you all have a book. How many of you all have a book with you all? Okay, many of you all have. So you all can try. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. this first verse is the most difficult verse, is long verse. I hope you all be able to recite after me, because it's very difficult to break it. I'll chant one line together. If you all can recite, do it. Otherwise, we'll just continue. So the way you all will be able to recite is hear properly. Right? When you hear properly, you'll be able to recite it properly. Janmadiyasya yato अन्वयाद इतरश्च चार्तेषु अभिज्ञ स्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदया आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत् सूर्यया तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. Because it is the first verse, let's recite it again. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadiyasya yato anvayat itarascha charteshu abhigya swarat. Tene brahmaradaya adikavaye muhyanti yat suryaya. तेजो वारिमृतां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. One minute. Okay, so basically this is the definition of the absolute truth. See, this is the first verse of the book. First verse of the book introduces the subject of the book. Right? This book is about whom, about what? So the first verse, the first line only, it says Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this book is about whom? Krishna. Krishna is called Vasudev. Why is Krishna called Vasudev? Because he is the son of Vasudev. Therefore he is called Vasudev. So this book is about whom? Krishna. And who is Krishna? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Krishna is not an ordinary person. If Krishna was an ordinary person, then we wouldn't be wasting time here. There's no need to do all these sessions if Krishna was an ordinary person. So we are discussing all this because Krishna is not an ordinary person. Who is Krishna? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. He is Bhagavan. In our Journey of Self-Discovery course, we have already seen the definition of Bhagavan. Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yashashashriya Jnana Vairagayaschaiva Shanan Bhaga Itingana. Anyone who has 6 qualities in full, he is Bhagavan, Krishna. So this book is about Krishna, about Bhagavan, about Vasudeva. 18,000 verses, 12 volumes, 18 books. Is there any book like this about any person? He had such depths. It's impossibility. It's an impossibility. Even though there is so many description of Krishna in this, still it is less. Because Krishna is unlimited. How much ever you describe for an unlimited amount of time, still it is short. One time when Srila Prabhupada was in his initial days in America, so Prabhupada, he was writing this Bhagavatam manuscripts, writing in pages, and there were a lot of things to be typed and edited and all that. So one of Srila Prabhupada's initial followers was an English professor called Howard Wheeler. He became Srila Prabhupada's disciple, Hayagriva Das. So he came to Srila Prabhupada, a young boy, and he asked Srila Prabhupada, can I do any help for you? So Prabhupada told him, take this manuscript. You are an English professor. English is your first language. You try to do some corrections, because that's not my language. So he took few months, got that manuscript back. And then he asked Srila Prabhupada, is there any other service I can do? Prabhupada showed him a trunk. Prabhupada told him, open that. This fellow was like shocked. So much. He told Prabhupada, this will take one full lifetime to do all this editing and reading and all this. Prabhupada said not one lifetime, many lifetimes. There is so much subject matter. If you start now, if you go on for many lifetimes, still we'll never be able to complete glorification of Krishna. It's unlimited. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So who is this Krishna? Janmadi Yasya Yato. Janmadi Yasya Yato means he is the source of everything. From Janma, Janmadi Yasya Yato. From Janma, everything else actually begins with Krishna. So basically, in one sense, he is the creator, maintainer, destroyer. In one sense, everything comes from Krishna. So we saw in the definition of Krishna, one of the definition of God is one who has 6 qualities in full, 6 opulences. Second was what? The source of all sources. So here is the answer. Janmadi Yasya Yato. And Krishna is also Abhigya Swarat. What does Abhigya Swarat mean? Abhigya means all knowing. You know, Krishna is all cognizant. He knows everything. Past, present, future, Krishna knows everything. Swarat. What does Swarat mean? Swarat means independent. No one can dictate anything to Krishna. He will dictate orders, but no one can dictate. Right? So Krishna is completely independent. Tene Brahmaradaya Adi Kavaye. So what does this Krishna do? Tene Brahmaradaya Adi Kavaye. So Lord Krishna, imparted Vedic knowledge into the heart of Brahma. That's how it comes. So we all know that Brahma, he is born from the lotus of Lord Vishnu. He doesn't know who he is. He's sitting and meditating for thousands of years. That time, the Acharyas explain, he hears the flute of Lord Krishna. And through the flute, Lord Krishna gives Diksha to Brahma in Vedic knowledge. And then Brahma starts to compile the Vedas. So Vedic knowledge is written by Brahma, but it doesn't come from Brahma. It comes from Krishna. Tene Brahma Radaya Adi Kavaye. Muyyanti Yat Suryaya. Muyyanti Yat Suryaya means Krishna can bewilder even demigods and sages. Even great demigods and sages get bewildered by Krishna. And in Krishna Leela we know so many pastimes. Right? When Lord Krishna was there with his cowherd boyfriends in Vrindavan and they were having lunch together. Right? So in our life, when we were in school, what was the best day in school? All of you remember? In the full year, which was the best day? Picnic day, no? Sports day also, yes. But picnic day is the best day. Right? Everyone, all the children are like most happy picnic day. So for Lord Krishna, every day is a picnic day. Right? So Lord Krishna with his cowherd friends, he goes to herd cows and they all sit and have lunch together. So one day Lord Krishna was having lunch like this and all the friends were giving their juta to Krishna. Krishna, taste this, taste this. And Brahmaji, the same Brahma, Tene Brahma Radaya Adi Kavaye, who is the knower of all the Vedas, Brahmaji was going in his Ansavahan. When he saw this, Brahmaji got confused. How can this be God? We offer so much bhoga to Krishna with so much purity and these children are just offering like that. So he also got confused and he did an offense to Lord Krishna. So therefore it says, Muyyanti Yat Suryaya. Even great demigods and sages are bewildered in understanding Krishna. So what can we understand? So we are just trying to understand Krishna little, but it's impossible to understand him completely. And then it says, Yatra Trisargo Mrisha. Yatra Trisargo Mrisha is, in this world, Lord Krishna has made this world which looks very, very real, but in one sense it's just only a reflection. Just like, so basically, Yatra Trisargo Mrisha means this world is like an illusory mirage. Right? So in this, just like in a desert, will you find water? Very difficult to find water. What you will find is an image, a mirage of water. So similarly, this world looks very, very real and we are attracted to this world, but this world will not satisfy us. It will never satisfy us. If you want satisfaction, then where we have to find it? Dhamna Svena Sara Nirasta Kokam Satyam Param Dhimahi. So whenever this word is there, Satyam Param Dhimahi, it's basically a Gayatri mantra, right? So this first shloka is one sense, it's a Gayatri invocation, Satyam Param Dhimahi. So ultimately all Gayatri is basically meant to glorify Krishna. So that Krishna stays in that spiritual world. Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam. This world is a place of illusion. And how is Krishna's world? That place is a place free from illusion. Lord Krishna stays in that eternal world. Therefore it says, Satyam Param Dhimahi. Krishna is that eternal truth. I always meditate on that eternal truth. So the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam, why are we reading so many verses and all this? So that we can meditate on Krishna. It's simple. What we hear more and more, that's what we are going to meditate on. So the more and more we soak our consciousness in Krishna, the more we hear about Krishna, the more we'll be able to meditate on Krishna. So we say in the process of bhakti, there are 9 limbs. Navvidha bhakti, 9 parts of bhakti. The first 3 is Shravan, Kirtan, Smaran. When you hear about Krishna, and then when you glorify Krishna, Smaran will come automatically. So here this great Acharya is praying here. He is welcoming all of us. Satyam Param Dhimahi. Let us all meditate upon that absolute truth. So Srila Prabhupada gives 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 7 page purport. You all please go home and read. If I read here, then we will take another 7 weeks. Right? So I'm not getting into that. So this is the first verse where the absolute truth is defined. We call this Sambandha Gyan. See, the Vedic literatures basically speaks about 3 things. Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojan. Sambandha means what is a relation with Krishna, ya who is Krishna. Abhideya is how to connect to Krishna. And Prayojan is what will happen once you connect to Krishna. So this first verse is about Krishna. How Krishna is that absolute truth. He's Swarat, he's all-knowing, he's bewildering even to the demigods, he's beyond illusion, he's the source of everything like that. Now, second verse, text 2. Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavam atra vasatu Shivadam tapatrayon Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimva Parerishwara Sadyo Hridhi Avarudyate Atra Kritabi Shushbit Tachana. This is the second verse where Bhagavatam is glorified. The first verse glorifies Krishna. The second verse glorifies the book. This book, Bhagavatam. And here in this verse, what is real religion is also defined. So this verse is basically Abhideya. If you want to know that Krishna, if you want to achieve that Krishna, how will you achieve? By reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Just like Parikshit had this question, how will I attain Krishna? And in answer to that, Shukadeva Goswami spoke Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam is the subject matter for anyone serious in attaining Krishna. So this is the process of Abhideya. So this verse says, what is Srimad Bhagavatam? Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. Dharma projita kaitavatra. So projita means completely rejecting. What does Bhagavatam do? It completely rejects so-called religion. Dharma projita kaitava. Kaitava is, religion that is in the name of religion where people are still selfish. So Prabhupada calls that as cheating religion. Right? The ultimate purpose of religion is what? To attain God. But in this world, people follow religion not to attain God, but to fulfill their own sense gratification. So basically, in our scriptures, it is explained that every human being has, or every person who is like a sane, a cultured human being following the Vedic scriptures, there are 4 primary needs, subjects of a human being. We call this dharma, artha, kama, moksha. But if you actually see properly, in all 4 there is selfishness. In dharma, why do people do dharma? Dharmik karya. Why do people do dharma? For artha. Hai ki nahi? People do dharma for what? Artha. Jaya Jagadish Hare. Bhagwan paisa dena. If not artha, kama. Right? So dharma is always connected either to artha or kama. So that means what? Even your dharma is meant for your own sense gratification. Where is Krishna's love, selflessness in there? Hardly there. And when people are frustrated with artha kama, people aspire for moksha. And what is the understanding of moksha? I want liberation. So that means what? Is God there in the picture? Who's there in the picture? I only. I'm frustrated here. What is liberation? I want to get rid of all problems. Om Shanti Shanti. I want peace. So even in that, which is moksha, which is considered to be the highest thing in the Vedic literatures, if you actually see it properly, even in that there is some selfishness. You want liberation not for getting God, you want liberation because you are frustrated in this world. Right? So there is an amount of selfishness there. But Bhagavatam, dharma projita kaitavatra. So Bhagavatam doesn't even speak about dharma, artha, kama, not even about moksha. Bhagavatam speaks about something called pancha purushartha. These are called purushartha. 4 things, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Bhagavatam speaks about panchama purushartha, the 5th thing which is the most important. And what is that? Prema pumartho mahan. That is love of God. So Bhagavatam is not about, he's not going to tell you how to earn money, how to get sense gratification. If that is your purpose, then Bhagavatam is not the book for you. Bhagavatam will teach you how to get love for Krishna, which is considered to be higher than even moksha. That's what Bhagavatam teaches. So in the beginning of Bhagavatam only, very clearly it is said, who should read Bhagavatam? This Bhagavatam is for whom? If you are in the other category, then probably this is not the book for you. Right? So this Bhagavatam speaks about a very high subject matter. Dharma projita kaitava. Paramo nirmat saranam satam. Paramo is the supreme truth is revealed. Parama is the supreme truth. And who can understand this truth? Nirmat sarana satam. Nirmatsara. Nirmatsara means one who is freed from envy. Those who have a pure heart, at least aspiring for a pure heart, only they can read Bhagavatam. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, I am giving you this knowledge because you are non-envious. You are freed from envy. And then what does Bhagavatam teach? Vedyam vastavam atra vastu. So Bhagavatam teaches reality distinguished from illusion. Vedyam vastu. What is the real thing that we are looking for? What is the real object that Bhagavatam teaches? What is reality? What is illusion? You'll be able to understand. In this world, it's very difficult to understand what is reality, what is illusion. Because we saw in the previous verse, what is illusion appears to be very, very real in this world. That's how Lord Krishna's Maya Shakti is. But when we read Bhagavatam, what will happen? Vedyam vastama vastu. We will understand what is the real vastu. And what is the real vastu? That is Krishna. That is revealed properly in Bhagavatam. Shivadam. Shivatam means by reading Bhagavatam, one will experience well-being. Shiva means auspiciousness. One will experience well-being. Tapatrayon moolanam. And by reading Bhagavatam, tapatraya moolanam. Tapatraya we discussed. Adhyatmik, adhibautik, adhidevik klesh. Right? Misery is caused by one's own body, mind, other living entities, natural disturbance. We are always troubled by this. Bhagavatam removes these miseries from the root. Tapatrayo moolanam. And who has written Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite. It is written by whom? Vyasdev. So Srimad Bhagavatam is about Krishna. In one sense, it is Krishna only. We discussed last time, na? Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna in the form of a book. Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna, about Krishna, written by whom? Krishna only. Vyasdev is Krishna's avatar, right? Written by Krishna. And when did Vyasdev write Bhagavatam? In his maturity. Any author, when he keeps writing books, his knowledge gets more and more mature. The last book will be the culmination. So Vyasdev, after writing all the Vedas, Puranas, Itihasas, the final book that he writes is Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is the mature realization of Vyasdev, spoken in his maturity. Mahamuni Kriter. So therefore it says, Kimva Parer Ishvara. Kimva Parer is, what is the need of any other book? Kimva Parer. Why are we looking here and there? What we are looking for is there in the Bhagavatam. That is the essence of everything. Kimva Parer Ishvara. And by reading Bhagavatam, what will happen? Sadhyo. Sadhyo is, the word sadhyo is at once, immediately. Anyone who reads Bhagavatam, what will happen? Sadhyo, Hridi avarudyate, kat atra kritibi shushbhi tadshanat. What will happen by reading Bhagavatam every day? Shushrubi tadshanat. Without delay, what happens? Avarudyate. Krishna becomes situated in one's heart. Krishna becomes situated in the lotus of our heart only by reading and hearing Bhagavatam regularly. So this is the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the beginning only it is explained what is Srimad Bhagavatam, what benefits we will get by reading Srimad Bhagavatam. One is all the anarthas, all the sufferings go away, and more than that, we will attain Krishna in our heart. So this is the definition of Bhagavatam, what is Bhagavatam and what is real religion. Now, third shloka is also a very beautiful shloka. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam shukamukat amrita dravya samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. We'll read this again. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam Shukamukat amrita dravya samyutam Pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam Muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. So the third shloka is an invitation to relish Srimad Bhagavatam. Please relish Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the prayojan. Prayojan means culmination. What are we all looking for in life? We are all looking for that rasa. You know what is rasa? Rasa means juice. Or probably in today's language, that kick. And everyone is looking for that higher kick, that taste, that juice, whatever you call it. Words may be different, but what we mean is that same. You call it bliss or kick or juice or nectar or whatever. Right? It's all the same. Right? Everyone's definition may be different. For demigods, nectar may be nectar. For someone like in Goa, nectar may be one glass of wine, but whatever. But everyone's intention ultimately is the same. They want to reach heavens, right? So basically everyone wants that enjoyment. So here it says, Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam. So if all the Vedas are like a kalpataro, desired fulfilling tree, what is Srimad Bhagavatam? Galitam phalam. It is the ripened fruit. कच्चा फल नहीं है, पका हुआ फल है. It is a ripened fruit. We discussed last time I think, essence of a tree is the fruit, right? So Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit. So it's very, very sweet. The nectar that we are looking for is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. Not only this, Shukamukat Amrita Dravya Samyutam. And because this Bhagavatam is coming from the mouth of Shukadeva Goswami, it's become all the more sweeter. It is said mango, all of you like mangoes, na? Any fruit, na? Especially mango is like the king of all fruits. Right? It looks like a king also. Yeah? Mango is the king of all fruits. But that mango, if a parrot has put its beak, understand that the mango is the sweetest. Because parrot will not eat mangoes like this. It will eat the best mango. So the mango is already sweet, but if a parrot's mouth has touched it, it's going to become more and more sweet. So this Bhagavatam, it's already sweet because it's Krishna's glories. What can be more sweeter than that? Maduram madurebhyopi mangalebhyopi mangalam. Krishna is anywhere sweet, sweeter than the sweetest. And now it's coming from the mouth of Shukadeva Goswami, it's becoming all the more sweet. I think we discussed last time, who is Shukadeva Goswami? The son of Vyasadeva. But actually it is explained that Shukadeva Goswami is the parrot of Srimati Radharani. Radharani always carried this parrot. Favorite parrot of Radharani. Radharani would feed pomegranate seeds with her hands to this Shuka. So when Radha Krishna Leela got over and Radha Krishna went to that spiritual world, Shuka was feeling so much separation. Now imagine someone has experienced Krishna, Radha Krishna personally, now they are not there, Shuka become mad. So that time Radharani told Shukadeva Goswami, go to Bhuvaneshwar, Ekamravan, there you will hear Bhagavatam from Lord Shiva. So Shuka comes flying to Ekamravan. There was a huge mango tree and Shiva and Parvati are sitting there. Shiva is reciting Bhagavatam and Parvati is hearing Bhagavatam. And Shiva's condition was no one should enter here. It was a very private discussion. He wanted to give personal time to Parvati. So Shuka, this parrot, came and sat on that tree. So while hearing Bhagavatam, Parvati went to sleep. Hota hai na? Many times it happens that Bhagavatam class, people just go to sleep, doze off. We say in ISKCON joke, we say the mantra to put everyone to sleep is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And the mantra to wake up everyone is Mahaprasade Govinde. Everyone will wake up. But even if you go to sleep now, there is some benefit. You stay awake, there is more benefit. But even if you go to sleep, there is benefit. So Parvati went to sleep and Shiva is reciting Bhagavatam. So Parvati is gone to sleep, but this Shuka, parrot on top, is hearing attentively. And he is saying continuously, So Shiva was thinking, Parvati is saying, Shiva, after long discourse, he looked at Parvati and she's going to sleep. So whatever the best preacher may be, how much the wife connects, you don't know, right? So she is going to sleep peacefully. So Shiva is thinking, who is hearing this and who is saying, and he sees this parrot. So Shiva feels that, Arey, you came to my class without getting my permission. So Shiva takes his trident and runs after Shuka. And Shuka flies from there and he reaches Badrikashram. And there Vyasdev was giving Bhagavatam to his wife, Satyavati. And same scene, Satyavati went to sleep. Hare Krishna. And she went to sleep, her mouth became open. And the Shuka entered into the mouth of Satyavati and entered her belly. And then he is born again as Shukadev Goswami. So Shukadev Goswami is a great personality, the parrot of Radharani. So here it says, Shukamukat Amrita Dravya Samyutam. It's nectarine, it's nectar flowing. So therefore, the invitation is Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. What we are supposed to do? Drink Bhagavatam. So how you generally say hear Bhagavatam. What is drink Bhagavatam? So the comparison is, how do you drink Bhagavatam? Through your ears. Right? Through your ears you drink Bhagavatam. Drink this nectar through your ears. Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. Alaya means an abode where it is abundant. Like we say, Dukkhalai. Dukkhalai means this world where there is dukkha and abundance. Himalaya means where there is snow, where there is snow and abundance. What is Bhagavatam? Rasamalayam. It is rasa in abundance. Right? It is like a ocean filled with nectarian juice. You can keep swimming and drinking. Right? You can just keep drinking and floating in this ocean of Bhagavatam. Muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. Therefore, the most intelligent, liberated souls have always relished Bhagavatam. We gave example of Shiv Parvati, Vyasdev, practically everyone, all the greatest, liberated, the most intelligent people. So Prabhupada writes in this purport, see, in this world, there has been no one more intelligent than these people. Shiva, Parvati, Bhishma, or Janak Maharaj, or you have Narad Muni, you have Tukaram Maharaj, you have Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, Ramanucharya, Vishnu Swami. There have been no more intelligent people than this, the most intelligent people. And all of them have studied Bhagavatam. So that means what? If you are intelligent, you will relish Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is basically the prelude. And we have many more verses to go. What is the time? I've lost track of time. Okay. So basically, the next section 4 to 8 is setting the scene for the sage's inquiry. Okay. So now we'll go a little quickly. Text 4. Naimishe nimishetre Rishya Shonakadaya Satram Swargaya Lokaya Sahasra Samam Asata. So once in a place called Naimisharanya, the sages headed by Shonaka were performing a sacrifice for thousands of years together. So what is Naimisharanya? Prabhupada explains here. Naimisharanya, it's in Uttar Pradesh, close to Lucknow, Ayodhya. So Naimisharanya is a very, very holy place. It is said that Naimisharanya is considered to be the center of the universe. Prabhupada writes in the purport. Now also, any of you gone to Naimisharanya? No. So Naimisharanya, there is a lake, there is a kunda. It's called Chakratirtha. Chakratirtha. So between that kunda is a small chakra. They say that chakra tirtha is the center point of the universe. So why did the sages choose Naimisharanya? Because whatever happens in Naimisharanya, the entire universe will get benefit. So they chose Naimisharanya so that this Bhagavatam that is going to happen here, the benefit will go to the entire universe. So Prabhupada writes here, these were sages of the past. They were like the greatest well-wishers of society. They were like very far-sighted, thinking about the Vishwa Kalyan of everyone. So they were sitting there, anxious for the liberation and for the benefit of everyone. They were doing a sacrifice for 1,000 years to please Lord Krishna. So one time, after they finished their morning duties, they gave Sutta Goswami a great seat, and they made the following request to Sutta Goswami. So basically, in the next few set of verses, 6, 7, 8, they tell Sutta Goswami why Sutta Goswami is qualified to speak Bhagavatam. See, for a discussion on Bhagavatam to happen, someone has to become a hearer and someone has to become a speaker. Then only that churning will happen, right? So they tell Sutta Goswami that they honor him with great words and tell him that please, you speak Bhagavatam to us. So text 6, Rishaya Uchuhu Tvaya Kalu Puranani Chetihasani Chanaga Achyatani Api Aditani Dharma Shastrani Yani Uta. So they tell him, you are free from all vice, you are free from all sin, and they tell him you are very knowledgeable in all the scriptures. Not only knowledgeable, you have also explained them to others many times. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, in the next set of 2-3 verses, whom should we hear Bhagavatam from? First is someone who is living a life free from sin. You can't have someone speaking Bhagavatam and then a glass of wine in the other hand. Doesn't make sense, right? If someone is not pure, then you should not hear Bhagavatam from such a person. So they tell Sutta Goswami, you are qualified because you are free from all sin. And you have studied these books very well. Not only that, you have also spoken it. So Prabhupada writes something very interesting. If you all get time, please go home and read the purports. We don't have time for all that. But Prabhupada says here, 2 things are very important. To hear and to explain. When you hear and when you explain, the subject matter becomes yours. It becomes more retained. So in these classes, you all are coming and hearing. I would highly encourage all of you all, please go back home and tell this to your friend, family, husband, wife, whoever. Catch someone and tell them. Just like Shiva and Parvati did. Even if someone goes to sleep, someone will get benefit. One Shuka will get benefit, right? So please go and speak it, right? Just go and explain. Whatever little you know, something you have understood, go and just speak. And then they tell him, text 8, Vetatvam Somya Tat Sarvam Tatvastat Anugrahat Bruyasnigdasya Shishyasya Guruvo Goyam Api Uta. So they tell him that one is you are free from sin, second is you have read all the scriptures well, you have also explained it, and then they tell him Veta Tvam Somya Tat Sarvam. Somya is you are very gentle and pure and simple. You are a very gentle and a simple person. And then they say Bruya Snigdasya Shishyasya. You have served your gurus very submissively, and they have blessed you with lot of blessings profusely with their heart. So Prabhupada writes here, this is the secret of someone who wants to become a speaker, or someone who wants to become a guru, or someone who wants to become successful in spiritual life. Blessings of great souls, right? So Sutta Goswami, they tell him that you are qualified to speak because before becoming a teacher, you have been a sincere student. So when Shukdev Goswami was speaking Bhagavatam to Parikshit, in that assembly Sutta Goswami was sitting. So because Sutta Goswami heard from Shukdev Goswami, now he is qualified to speak. So this is called Parampara system. So basically, these are the qualities of Sutta Goswami, of a speaker. First, free from all vice. Second, well versed in scriptures. Not only well versed, he can also explain them well. Second, Veda Vittam Shreshta. Sutta Goswami was very elder, senior most. Saumya, very gentle, pure, and Stiktasya is submissive. After setting this whole scene and telling Sutta Goswami, you are perfect, you please enlighten all of us. Third section, 9 to 23, they ask 6 questions. The first question comes in the next verse only. Text 9. Tatran Jayayusman Bhavata Tat Vinishchitam Pumsam Ekantata Shreyas Tanna Samsitum Arhasi. So basically, they ask him, please tell us what is the absolute ultimate good for people in general. What is the ultimate good? Why do they say this? Because they know that studying scriptures and then finding out what is the best is very difficult. Because people of Kali Yuga, the next verse is the qualities of people of Kali Yuga. People of Kali Yuga have very less time. And even if they read the scriptures, how many of them will be able to understand the essence? So they tell Sutta Goswami, you have digested, you have understood everything. Please tell us straight, what is the highest good, absolute good for people in general? What they should do? No beating around the bush. Straight answer, what will help people? This is what their question is. So they are asking this for all of us. What should we be doing that will give us the ultimate good? And in the next verse, text 10, why they are asking this? Because, see, this particular pastime happens almost like 5,000 years ago. It's the start of Kali Yuga. So they know that Kali Yuga is going to start. And what are the qualities of people in Kali Yuga? Text 10. Prayena alpa ayushya sabya kalau asmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayo manda bhagyahi upadrita. We may be very proud that we are like Kali Yuga guys, Kali Yuga passouts or whatever. But here they say, what are the qualities of people in Kali Yuga? First is Prayena Alpa Ayushya. What does Alpa Ayushya mean? Less life. Again, that's Kali Yuga. Less life. Previously in Kali Yuga, actually Kali Yuga, normal life means 100 years. Normal life is 100 years, healthy life. But anyone lives 100, that's like a big thing. Gradually reducing. Gradually reducing. So the lifespan is very, very less. Is this enough? Is this all of the problem of people of Kali Yuga? Prayena alpa ayushya sabya. Kalo means quarrelsome. Kali means the age of quarrel. Without any reason, people will fight. If they get a reason to, it's a bigger fight. A place where there is continuous fighting. Kalau asmin yuge jana mandaha. Manda means lazy. Very, very lazy. Especially in spiritual life. Our Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada's guru, would tell one story. There were 2 guys who were the most laziest people. If there was any prize for the most laziest guys, they would get it. So one time, they were all lying down in their house, and the house went on fire. And both of them are lying down on their backs. And one guy is telling the other guy, BB. BB means he's saying back burning. He's so lazy, he doesn't even want to say back burning. He's using short form, BB. And the other guy, he's like, lazier guy than this fellow. He says, TS, turn side. And the house is burning. And both of them get burnt. And they don't go out. So Prabhupada explains the story, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This house is on fire. This material world is a place of suffering. And we are doing here BBTS and we are doing all this. Not at all interested in spiritual life. Tell people come to satsang. People are lazy. For everything else they will go. For one pav bhaji they will go, 100 kilometers to eat that one pav bhaji. To come for satsang, people are very, very lazy. Mandaha. Sumanda matayo. Sumanda matayo means misguided intelligence. Misguided intelligence. Even if someone wants to take a spiritual path, they somehow get caught in a wrong path. First of all, no one wants to take up spirituality. If someone wants to take up spirituality, there are so many people who have opened their marketplace and kept to cheat people. Kaitava dharma. So that is also happening. People get royally cheated, right? Misguided intelligence, not at all intelligent. And then manda bhagya. Manda bhagya means unlucky. They don't have even fortune. Bhagya bhi nahi hai. One time, one guy went to a Brahmana and told this Brahmana, I am suffering a lot, what should I do? The Brahmana told him, you have Sade Sati. This fellow said, what should I do now? Brahmana said, don't worry, you give me 100 rupees, I will do one yagya, Sade Sati Shani will go away. This fellow said, I don't have 100 rupees. So the Brahmana said, ठीक है, give me 10 rupees, I will do it for you. He said, I don't have 10 rupees also. So this Brahmana said, ठीक है, give me 1 rupee, I will do it for you. He said, I don't have 1 rupee also. He said, give me 10 paisa, I will do this yagya for you. This guy said, I don't have that also. So Brahmana said, get out. You don't even have 10 paisa, even Shani can't do anything to you. Tell him, get out. So people in this world are unlucky, manda bhagya. And upadruta means always disturbed. So on one guy's t-shirt it was written, do not disturb me, I am already disturbed. Right? So people are already disturbed. So these are the qualities of people in Kali Yuga. So therefore, what are they asking him? They are asking Sutta Goswami, please tell what is the absolute good for people in general. And in the text 11, they basically tell him, I'll not read that verse. So basically they tell him that there are many scriptures, many varieties of scriptures, and each scripture is learned after years of study. So please, people in Kali Yuga, we have already seen life is less, intelligence is less, lazy guys. So what will they read scriptures and understand? So they tell him in text 11, this is the question 2. So basically we saw 6 questions that they're going to ask. First question was, what is the ultimate and the absolute good for people in general? Second question, what is the essence of all scriptures for the good of all living beings? Please explain that essence which can actually benefit people, because people in Kali Yuga have absolutely no time, right? So this is the second question. Okay. So now in verse number 12, they ask the third question. Sutta janasi badram te Bhagavan satvatampati Devakyam vasudevasya Jato yasya chikirshaya. So they ask him, please tell us, why did Krishna appear as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Why did Lord Krishna appear at all? Please tell us the purpose of Krishna's appearance. Why did Krishna come? Right? This is the third question that they ask. So here they say, Sutta janasi badram te, we bless you. So someone who's hearing, they are actually blessing the speaker that please speak about Krishna. So this is basically the third question. Now, in text 13, Shaunakadi Rishis, they explain their eagerness to hear Bhagavatam. So you all can repeat this verse after me. Tanna Shushrumananam Arhasi Anganu Varnitam Yasavataro Bhutana Shemaya Cha Bhavaya Cha. So they are saying we are very eager to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, in one sense, what is the qualification? We saw the qualification of a speaker. Who should be a speaker of Bhagavatam? Who should speak Bhagavatam? Someone who is knowledgeable. What else? Someone is pure. What else? Not envious. What else?
Detached.
Detached. But most important. Huh? Yeah, but most most important is he should be in parampara. He should have learnt it from a proper guru. So most important qualification for a speaker is he has to be in parampara. And what is the qualification of a listener? What should be the qualification? Love, and most important, how is that love shown? Eager to know about Krishna. that eagerness is very important. So when you have a qualified speaker who is in parampara and you have a listener who is eager to hear, in that discussion, Krishna is actually born. One can experience Krishna in that discussion when there's a perfect listener and a perfect hearer. So Bhagavatam is there, right? But it's also important for all of us that we are eager to hear, right? We are like that bird who's really looking for that food. Just like small, we gave this example in our Kudal retreat. Just like small birds are there in the nest, right? They are waiting for that mother to come, right? You pull the calf away from the cow, the calf is like desperate to meet the mother. So that kind of desperation, that eagerness is the qualification that a hearer should have. And then in the next verse, they explain the glories of the holy name. Text 14. Apanna samsitim goram yannama vivashogrinan tata sadyo vimuchyeta yad bibeti swayambayam. So it says sadya. The word sadya means at once. Anyone who chants the name of Krishna once, or as soon as he chants a pure name of Krishna, what happens? One person becomes freed from all suffering. Apanna samsitam goram. This world is a complex place. Padam padam yad vipadam na tesham, where there is constant fear. By chanting the holy names of Krishna, all fear runs away. Just like in a jungle, when a lion roars, all the birds fly. Right? So similarly, where there's chanting of the holy names going on, all fear, sins just run away. So this verse is glorifying the holy names of Krishna. How it's very important, therefore in our classes we are continuously stressing this point of chanting the names of Krishna. See, Bhagavatam in one sense, Bhagavatam is about Krishna, and more importantly it's about the holy names of Krishna. We are in the first canto, first chapter, the first few verses of Bhagavatam. I'll tell you the last verse of Bhagavatam. We will reach there, hopefully, Krishna's mercy. But even if it takes some time to reach there, I will tell you all the last verse now only. You know what's the last verse of Bhagavatam? It says, Nama Sankirtana Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanas Tam Namamim Harim Param. This is the last verse of Bhagavatam. It says, Nama Sankirtana Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam. By chanting the holy names, all papa is removed. So therefore I offer my obeisances to Krishna, who is come in the form of the holy names. So this glorifies the holy names of Krishna. How the names of Krishna is something that is very important for us to chant. So text 14 has glorified the holy names of Krishna. Text 13 speaks about how a listener should hear with eagerness. Text 15, I will probably share this slide in the group. Don't worry, you all can aram se go through it also. Text 15 speaks about the glories of a devotee of Krishna. Very beautiful verse. Yat pada samshraya suta munaya param parashyamanana sadya punanti upasprishta swarduni apunushevaya. So here, very beautiful verse. So it says, on one hand you have a devotee of Krishna, a pure devotee of Krishna, and the other hand you have Ganga, Mother Ganga, right? So it says here, Ganga, after prolonged use, after taking bath in Ganga, many times one gets pure. But here it says, anyone who comes once in touch with a pure devotee, at once become pure. So a devotee of Krishna is actually in one sense more powerful than even Ganga. See, when people go to Ganga, why do people go to Ganga to take bath? To get rid of sins. So where will your sins go? To Ganga. I mean, imagine Kumbh Mela. Crores of people. My God, Ganga might have. I mean, she has got so much sins. I mean, everyone has left all their sins in Ganga. So now Ganga is loaded with sins. How she will get rid of it? The scriptures explain, Tirti Kurvanti Tirthani. The same Bhagavatam, we will come to a chapter where Yudhishthir glorifies Vidura, who is a great sage. It is said that when great souls go to a holy place, they purify the holy place also. So that means the pure devotees of the Lord are more powerful than even Ganga. They have a power to purify others. So in this way, the sages of Naimisharana, Shaunaka Rishi, they glorify Sutta Goswami. Now, in text 17, they ask the fourth question. Tasya karmani udharani parigitani suribi bruhina shraddha dananam lilaya dadatakala. So they say, my dear Sutta Goswami, tasya karmani udharani. Tasya is whose? His. Krishna's activities, udharani, are great. Krishna's activities are great. As we say, God is great. And who chants Krishna's activities? Parigitani suribi. Who chants Krishna's activities? Suribi. Suribi means great souls. Like Narada, Brahma, they all chant the activities of Krishna. So their fourth question is, please, we also want to hear about Krishna's various activities. So in this question, they are basically asking about Krishna's Purusha avatar. What it is, we will describe in the next chapter. Purusha avatar basically means there are three kinds of Purusha avatar. Karnodakshay Vishnu, Shirodakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu. So basically, how Krishna does this pastime of creation. That's what they want to understand in shloka number 4. Right? Sorry, in question number 4, which is verse number 17. And in text 18, they ask the fifth question. The verses are little, it's mentioned 17, but it should be 18. Okay. So they say here, text 18, Ata kyai harer diman avatara kata suva Leela vidadata swairam Ishwarasyatma mayaya. So the fifth question is, please narrate to us about Krishna's various Leela avatars. The various Leela avatars of Krishna. So basically how it goes is, chapter 2, the next chapter, there will be some mention of the Purusha avatars and the various aspects of Bhakti. Chapter 3 fully is devoted to all the Leela avatars. Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, the whole list of Leela avatars in chapter 3. So this is the fifth question. We want to hear about Krishna's Leela avatars. And then they say in text 19, my dear Sutta Goswami, we are never tired about hearing about Krishna. Very beautiful verse. Vayam tu natra vityatma uttama shloka vikrame yan shranvatam rasagyanam swadu swadu pade pade. We'll recite this again. Vayam tu na vitripyama uttama shloka vikrame Yat shranvatam rasagyanam swadu swadu pade pade. Vayam tu na vitripyama. They tell Sutta Goswami, we are never tired about hearing about Krishna. So Prabhupada writes in this purport, it's simple. Anything in this world, you hear once, gradually you get tired. Like the best movie, how many times you can watch it? Mahavatar movie is different, you can watch it many times. All the devotees made it a blockbuster, right, by watching many times. But any other movie, how many times you can watch it? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, you get frustrated. Forget movie. If there is a hit song, can you chant that song 100 times a day for 100 days together? You'll become mad. You'll have to be taken to the mental hospital, right? But Krishna's holy name, the same Mahamantra we chant every day. Is it that 1 year Prabhuji have been chanting, let us change, for a change let us change Mahamantra? Not like that. The same Mahamantra we keep chanting. The same Gita, same Bhagavatam, you read 100 times, you'll find something new in it. Today's newspaper, can you read tomorrow? Today's newspaper, you'll throw it in the dustbin tomorrow. But this Bhagavad Gita has been in the market for the last 5,000 years and people are still reading it. Never outdated. Why? Because this anything connected to Krishna is always fresh. Anything in the mundane world becomes stale day by day. So therefore they say, Vayam tu na vitrupyama. We are never satisfied about hearing about Krishna. That means they are eager to hear about Krishna more and more. Uttama shloka vikrame. Uttama shloka means Krishna is glorified in the best of words and he is vikrame. He has done great activities. So therefore they say, Yat Shranvatam Rasagyanam Swadu Swadu Pade Pade. Therefore we have developed a taste for hearing about Krishna at every moment. So this is the mood that a devotee should have, wanting to relish Krishna again and again. When we come from our Sharong ferry to Panjim, there is one restaurant there. In the restaurant it is written, drink, dine, dance, repeat. पियो खाओ नाचो वही करो फिर से. So therefore for us also it is the same thing. Read Bhagavatam, chant Hare Krishna, have prasad, repeat. Keep doing the same thing again and again, right? Just keep repeating it. And then in text 21, so basically I'll not read the words. They basically say that now the Kali Yuga has started. So now we are very eager to recite Bhagavatam, to hear Bhagavatam, knowing that this will be the best thing for people in general. Text 22. Tvam na sandarshito dhatra dustaram nishitrishtatam kalim sattva haram pumsam karnadara ivarnavam. They say, my dear Sutta Goswami, we have met you by great fortune. We are so fortunate to have met you and to hear Bhagavatam from you. So we were describing this last time when we were describing the glories of Bhagavatam. To get to hear Srimad Bhagavatam is a big fortune. It's a big fortune. Now Pitru Paksha is going on. Anyone in a family who is sitting and hearing Bhagavatam, all the Pitras have become so happy. And someone in my family is at least doing something meaningful finally, right? So after lifetimes of punya, one actually gets the opportunity to hold Bhagavatam, open Bhagavatam, read Bhagavatam, understand Bhagavatam. It's a big fortune. So the sages of Naimisharanya, that thanking Sutta Goswami, we are so fortunate. Brahmande Brahmite Kona Bhagyaman Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. So this shloka comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. After wandering in many species, one meets a right Guru and gets to hear the right message. So we are very, very fortunate. And that tells Sutta Goswami, Kalim Sattva Haram Pumsam. This age of Kali deteriorates all good qualities. Just by staying in this age, even if you don't do anything bad, bad will come in your life. Because all good qualities go away just by the vibration here. So therefore they tell them, Karna Dhara Ivarnavam. You are, this Kali Yuga basically is what? It is an ocean of faults. Ocean of sin. Now to cross an ocean, what do you need? A boat. So Ivarnavam, they say, this Bhagavatam that we are hearing is like a boat. The message of Bhagavad Gita, message of Bhagavatam is like a boat. And they tell Sutta Goswami, who are you? Karnadhara. You are our captain. Right? You need a boat and you need a captain who can take you across. Because the ocean is very confusing, very bewildering. You need a good captain to sail you across. So they tell Sutta Goswami, Bhagavatam is there, which is a boat. And you are a perfect captain that can take us across. We are now at your hands. Please sail us across this ocean of birth and death. So that's their mood in which they are actually asking questions. And finally, text 23 is the last, sixth question. Bruhi Yogeshware Krishne Brahmanye Dharma Varmani Swam Kastam Adunopete Dharmakam Sharanam Gata. So by now, when this discussion is going on, Lord Krishna's Leela is over. So now they are asking Sutta Goswami, now Krishna has gone back to his abode. Kali Yuga started. So when does Kali Yuga start? As soon as Krishna and Leela gets over, Kali Yuga enters. So now Kali Yuga has started, Krishna is gone. Now where has Dharma taken shelter of? As long as Krishna was there, he was a personification of dharma. Now Krishna is gone. Now where do we take shelter of to find dharma? And in answer to this, we will come to that shloka when we read chapter 2, chapter 3. Sutta Goswami says, now dharma has taken shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. We described that verse last time. That when the sun of Krishna sets, the sun of Bhagavatam rises to give hope and knowledge to all of us. So this is the sixth question. So basically, in summary, these are the six questions that they ask. Question 1, what is the absolute and ultimate good for people in general? Question 2, explain the essence of all scriptures for the good of all living beings in Kali Yuga. Question 3, why did Krishna appear as a son of Devaki and Vasudeva? Question 4, please describe Lord Krishna's various Purusha avatars. Question 5, please describe various Leela avatars of Lord Krishna. And question 6, after Krishna's departure, where has Dharma taken shelter of? Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada is saying, chant Hare Krishna and make your life sublime. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Anyone has any questions, any comments? Anyone has any questions? Anyone? Are you all able to understand this Bhagavatam? So we can try to share the slides also. Yeah.
These question 6, will you explain it further?
Yeah. The next 2 chapters will answer the 6 questions. The next 2 chapters will answer the 6 questions. Yes, Manji. भागवतम पढ़ रहे हैं तो आप चैंटिंग करेंगे क्योंकि भागवतम भी वही बोल रहा है ना. So basically Prabhupada mentions here time and again that to read means to follow. So Bhagavatam is time and again speaking about the glories of holy names. You will find अभी हम शुरुआत ही क्या है, already in the first verse the glories of holy name has come. Apanna samsitam goram, already the verse has come. You will see next chapter, second, third, आप देखेंगे कैसे हर चैप्टर में हरि नाम के बारे में आता रहता है. So if you are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, you are supposed to follow it also, na? Then definitely reading itself will have a benefit, but the maximum benefit is when you read and follow. When you read, understand, apply it, that's where the message gets actually वो transformation होता है. I hope I answered. Anyone has any other question? So we'll stop here at this point. The challenge now is, the first chapter was the smallest chapter. We'll have to really see. For me, doing this little austerity, to complete an entire chapter in one sitting is, because each of the verses is so important. But still, we'll try our best. We'll pray to Krishna that we can do this for all of you. So the next week we will do the second chapter. Is Vaijyashri Mataji here?
Yes.
Okay. So हमारे पास फर्स्ट कैंटो है क्या, मतलब इंग्लिश